Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley and this is video log number 69. Every day in Flat Earth is an exciting day and a new experience, and my wife watches my video logs and will often read out some of the comments to me. And she read out a comment from a guy called Mr. Flat Taxi Rainbow Chemtrails, and as soon as she read the name, both her and I looked at each other and just pissed ourselves with laughter. It's got to be one of the best names ever. So of course I had to check this guy out and see if he had any videos, sort of praying that he did. And sure enough, it's the happiest flat earther in the UK. It's just a wonderful new flat earther. So I don't know how many subscriptions he's got. I don't know if he knows, but he hasn't got his subscriptions displayed. But as far as I can tell, he's pretty new, and he's got a great outlook on life. He just sort of documents his experiences. The most recent one I watched, he was just talking about someone who got in the cab and was asking him, do you know anything about these flat earthers? And he sort of laughed and went, yeah, I am one. And it kind of reminded me of the first few video logs I did, and I mentioned in passing some pagans that I work with, and it was one of those that I was verging on telling them about flat earth, but before I had the opportunity, they had told me about paganism, so I was quizzing them all about that. And today when I went into work, I walked in, grabbed my paperwork, and in the background I hear, good evening, good evening, good evening, the earth is a triangle. And I immediately look over and think, okay, someone's at least been watching my videos, which is brilliant. So I sort of smiled and said nothing. And later on, as I was loading up and getting ready to go, the conversation sort of started out with the moon, which was almost full, and this guy going, look, that's flat as well, is it? And I sort of had to say, well, it's see-through as far as I can tell. During the day you can see blue through it, during the night you can see black through it. It's just a light in the sky, how are you going to land on that? And he said, I've got land on there, and so that's where the conversation ended. And just as he was getting ready to go, his engine failed, and you got a laugh. So I grabbed the jump leads, and that failed as well. And we're back to the original sort of conversation in video log 16 or whatever it was, where the only reason I'd found out that he was a pagan was because he'd piped up when I'd offered a hand to someone else who needed a bit of assistance. And he said, he's only helping because he's a Christian. I wouldn't help. I'm a pagan. So this guy's now in a position where he's got to change all of his load onto a different van, and I'm the only person there. So I'm helping him and going, so you think NASA are real, are you? That's interesting. I've got him over a barrel talking about a flat earth. Anyway, I got back and got a phone call from my mother, who's having a bit of work done on her new home, and she's had a similar experience. So one of her what do you want to call them, the people that come around and do sort of building work, builder bods, starts asking her about flat earth subjects, and one of his relations had gone into flat earth, and of course my mother explained that I'm into flat earth. And this guy had a very interesting comment, which is, I don't believe any of the moon landings happened, but I don't know about this flat earth. And I'm sure a lot of the people watching this who are flat earthers will have heard of Tim Osman. On his most recent show, which in his big head he assumed he'd have to reschedule, as he sees YouTube as some sort of television station that has set times and slots, and there we go, that's just him being a big head. But he basically alluded to, how can I phrase this kindly? One of his guests basically said that the same thing. He understood that NASA was a load of BS, in his words, but then go on to justify the globe. And it seems that the penny is starting to drop with even the most diehard people who are against what the flat earthers are doing. They're accepting that NASA is a load of rubbish. Seems interesting that flat earthers moved this fairly niche conspiracy on one notch. But there we go, it seems to be spreading like wildfire if my mother is chatting to builder bods and a London taxi driver's just getting the lowdown from every Tom, Dick and Harry getting in his cab. So yeah, stay tuned to Mr. Flat Taxi Rainbow Chemtrails, because he's got some interesting stories to tell, and he makes some interesting observations around London as well. So yeah, definitely give him a subscription. I'll put a link to one of his videos so you can subscribe from there in the bottom of this video. So hopefully there'll be more interesting things to come towards the end of January in Flat Earth. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.